Hello and a very warm welcome to this special. We are looking ahead to the upcoming season of the IPL, and there's one question that everybody needs the answer to. Who is going to be Royal Challengers Bangalore's captain? Yes, Virat Kohli resigned from captaincy last season or at the end of the last season, and now everybody is wondering who will be the captain of Royal Challengers Bangalore. Remember, Royal Challengers Bangalore has a huge fan base. They've created a brand around having the fan base in Bangalore, and we've seen how fans love Royal Challengers Bangalore. I have with me Vedam Jaishankar to talk about who are the likely candidates. Nikhil Narayan here joins me as well on the show. Let's start with Vedam. This is going to be interesting. One, because all other teams seem to have found who their captain is. Royal Challengers Bangalore have waited for this long. I wonder why. Number one, that's the question. And secondly, that they're also doing it in a huge event where they've called the media, they've called fans to interact with the players on the 12th of March in Bangalore. And that's where they will be unveiling the new captain. And this is all in typical Royal Challengers Bangalore style. In fact, this is what is lined up on 12th of March. It's a big day for Royal Challengers Bangalore. They're, sort of making this a huge event where they will name Virat Kohli's successor, who is going to be that player who will be Royal Challengers Bangalore's captain. They will be unveiling a new jersey. There will be interaction with the fans. So there will be a lot of fans who've been called in. There'll be media interaction. There'll be a press conference where all of this will be announced. There will also be a fashion show with some of the key players, strutting around in the new Royal Challengers Bangalore jersey. And Vedam, this is something that is so typical of Royal Challengers, isn't that so? I mean, everything is about the brand. Everything is about trying to get people to like the brand more.
Yeah, absolutely, Meha, because I think the thought process in the Royal Challengers camp has always been different. That's because it comes from a liquor background, whether it was Vijay Mallya or the current owner, Diageo. They are liquor barons and they are big brand liquor names. Now, in India, you have a peculiar system. You cannot advertise liquor. It's banned from advertising liquor. But you can develop the brand. There is money for brand building, and there's also a lot of scope for brand building. And when you look at it, the IPL actually fits the entire system for at least RCB brilliantly. RCB itself as a name is built after a brand, and everything that it does is after the brand. And that's what it does. Its colors are also after the brand, whether it's red on black or black on red. That's after two famous brands of Diageo. But even earlier, when Vijay Mallya was handling the whole show, everything was after the brand. The stands in Chinnaswamy Stadium were named after big brands. The cheerleaders were named after big brands. So everything that RCB has done right through has been to develop the brands. Even when it looks at its players, it looks at its captains, it looks at the big ticket people, the big brands whom, they can exploit worldwide. It's not just looking at it in Bangalore-centric or being India-centric. They want to look at it worldwide, which is why they back people like Kevin Peterson or Gale or Virat Kohli. And all these guys are big brands, whether in India or anywhere in the world. So RCB as a brand itself, RCB itself is a brand, and they have sustained themselves in developing other brands. So whatever they plan will be, it will revolve not so much around their cricket, but it will revolve a lot around the brands that they choose and the brands that they want to popularize over the next 3 or 5 years, not just in India, but worldwide.
That's right. And I think that's the reason why there's one thing we can be certain of, that whoever it will be, it'll come down to how he can add to that brand. And that's why I get the feeling that despite Faf du Plessis being the top contender, that they might still find out a way to get Glenn Maxwell to captain it. And I know one of the reasons for that is for people saying that Glenn Maxwell may not be the captain is because him being Australian, There is this whole talk about Australian players not being able to come into and join IPL till the 6th of April. But I get the feeling that things are going to somehow change for Glenn Maxwell, and I do see him playing right from the start of the IPL. But hey, we still don't know it. What we know is that there are 2 or 3 top contenders, and I think Nikhil can come in on that. We've talked about number 1, Virat Kohli's successor. Can it be Virat Kohli again? Well, that's one thing that some people are now suggesting, that why not, since Virat Kohli now has no responsibility of captaincy, why not get Virat Kohli back? You know, this is his one chance where he can show his leadership. He hasn't been successful in the past. Royal Challengers Bangalore has come close to winning the title, but have never won the title. Can it be Virat Kohli? Now, my sources are telling me, Nikhil, that it'll be anybody but Virat Kohli. They made it very clear that this is new look RCB. It's a new season for Royal Challengers Bangalore, and so it'll be a new captain.
Yeah, I mean, if it's Virat Kohli again, it'll be a massive decision. Only an outside chance, Maya, and the only reason there could be an outside chance is because Virat Kohli was almost humiliated at the national level when he was thrown out of captaincy, Indian captaincy in all 3 formats. And I know a lot of friends in the RCB who personally, you know, they were tweeting from their handles, he's our captain forever. So there is, I would still say, a 1% chance that there is a surprise in store. But I think the favorite the contender overall, I think, will be Glenn Maxwell. The reason I say 2 strong reasons. One, he's 33. The other 2 contenders are 37. Also, Glenn Maxwell is that global brand. He has that persona very similar to Virat Kohli, larger than life, flamboyant, slightly arrogant. The other 2 people don't. He's also led Melbourne Stars, been reasonably successful. They were the runners-up in 2018-19 and 19-20. He's led Kings XI Punjab in 2017. He's a great fan and admirer of Virat Kohli, a lot of respect for him, mutual admiration. When he went from Kings XI Punjab, where he was absolutely, you know, he scored some 100 runs the previous season. He was brilliant for RCB, scoring 500 plus runs at 140 plus strike rate this season. So I'm getting a feeling that Glenn Maxwell fits into this larger than life brand image of RCB perfectly.
Absolutely, and he has done well for Melbourne Stars, isn't that so, Vedam? He also led Kings XI Punjab, though it was in 2017. My only reason for why RCB probably will not want to go in for Glenn Maxwell is that he sort of just resurrected his career with RCB. I mean, he hadn't been performing that well in the IPL. Kings XI Punjab, we saw what happened. He led Kings XI Punjab back in 2017, as I just mentioned. Wouldn't it be, and he's an important part of this team, would you want to then put pressure on Glenn Maxwell instead of him just sort of working on his batting and doing what he does? Vedam?
See, the very fact that they have kept the captaincy hanging till now is that they've made it a talking point, you know. Yeah. That's how the brand works, really, with RCB. There have been a lot of teasers every now and then, but they've not come out openly and said who would lead the brand. And they look at it as a brand. Everything that they do, they try to ring fence the brand, you know. So the cricketing decision, I'm afraid, may not be the primary decision that RCB would be taking. Because if you look at a cricketing decision, it's always better to have an Indian captain. Yeah. Because first and foremost, you can have only 4 foreigners, you know, and to make one of them the captain is not such a great move, especially given that the matches are going to be played in India, in Indian conditions. There will be a whole lot of Indian players, both for playing for them and against them, whom the foreign guys may not know too much or anything about. Of course, there are big teams which are looking at the analytics and giving these kind of feedback. But the thinking, the concept, the understanding is always so very Indian in this. So it's better always to have an Indian captain. But with RCB, I'm not so sure because, like I said, for them, the brand comes first. The cricket or the players or whoever it is comes second. But when you look at the brand, I think what you said is absolutely right. Glenn Maxwell would be the biggest brand that they can think of to develop RCB brand if it is not Virat Kohli. Yes, Virat Kohli has a chance to be the captain or to continue to be the captain, and that would also become a talking point which helps the brand. So I think all these permutations and combinations would be thrown into the basket before they pull the name out of the hat.
That's right. But, you know, maybe, just maybe, for a second we'll think that since this is a new season and they want to take their cricket seriously, because we've seen this with Royal Challengers Bangalore, they've actually always had a good team. They've had a really good team. We've said they've done well. I remember Vedam and I, and Nikhil, we were having this conversation even during the IPL auction saying, Royal Challengers Bangalore have always done well in the auction. They've, you know, got a good team, but they've just not managed to show the results on the field. Will it change this time around? It is a huge thing to have a captain, Nikhil, who your team respects. I mean, at the end of the day, you are playing with this person. You are sort of, you know, you've got to respect the decisions he takes. He's got to be experienced enough, and that's why I feel Faf du Plessis becomes a top contender. I know that Glenn Maxwell as a brand will be very good for Royal Challengers Bangalore, will fit right into the philosophy that RCB have had in the past. But having said that, Faf du Plessis comes with tremendous amount of experience, and I just feel like at least he's somebody who everybody in the cricketing fraternity, cricketing world respects. You know, so all your international players, he's well respected by Virat Kohli. I get the feeling like if you just go by the cricketing aspect of it, Faf du Plessis is really the right choice.
Absolutely, Maya. You know, he has international experience, and that's a big thing. You know, he's led South Africa in 40 T20Is. They won 24. Very good record as ODI captain also. Also, he's been in great form with the bat. So he's very secure. For CSK, what he did last season when they won, and the season before that, where they didn't qualify for the playoffs also, a brilliant record. So he's been one of the best batsmen at the top of the order in the IPL. And you're right, Maxwell is just finding his feet. He had a great season. So the security for a foreign player is much more for du Plessis than for Maxwell. And he's also, you know, calm, cool, collected, qualities which RCB needs, you know, qualities which Maxwell may not have, because he's very similar to Virat, very emotional. Faf is more reserved. So Faf may be actually a very interesting choice purely on cricketing grounds.
Okay, what about an Indian captain now? Vedam said that they should ideally go for an Indian captain. All teams ideally would want an Indian captain, because then you don't have to worry about when the player is coming into the bubble. Also, the fact that only 4 foreigners are allowed in the playing 11. Why not Dinesh Karthik, gentlemen? Then Dinesh Karthik has done the job for Kolkata Knight Riders. He was removed from captaincy midway, before Owen Morgan was brought in as the Kolkata Knight Riders captain. But Dinesh Karthik has done the job for Kolkata Knight Riders. He's done the job for Tamil Nadu, taking Tamil Nadu to win the title in Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy. Why not Dinesh Karthik? And I know what Vedam's going to say, but carry on, Vedam, about, maybe just for once, it could be about cricket.
Yeah, I say, look, cricket is the foremost point why IPL has been put together. So you really need to do something about the cricket part of it. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Dinesh Karthik along with Virat Kohli are two huge contenders if you look at Indians as captains. I'm not so sure whether Dinesh Karthik would be any different, temperamentally from, say, Glenn Maxwell or even Virat Kohli, because he's also in many ways a maverick, he is not somebody who will take impassionate steps. His batting itself is like that. But it works within the T20 concept that you have somebody who can, who will just throw caution to the winds and get on with it. And sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm not so sure again, having a wicketkeeper, having a major batsman, having him as a captain, how much it will work within this T20 fold when, it's virtually a spill a minute or a thrill a minute situation. And I'm not so sure that somebody like Dinesh Karthik is cut out for it. Dhoni might be cut out for it because Dhoni is a different man temperamentally. He is virtually like Captain Cool, but I'm not so sure that Dinesh Karthik is the right man. But given the team that RCB has, there are not too many choices. There's just 4 names if you look at it for the captaincy. It's either Glenn Maxwell or Faf du Plessis or Virat Kohli or Dinesh Karthik. That's it. There is no 5th name really. Yeah. At least I can't see a 5th name there.
No, there isn't. There isn't. Even if you go in and look with a torch, you won't be able to find the 5th name in there who is a contender for the captain. But that's where you know, I wonder when it comes to philosophy like this, when you have for Royal Challengers Bangalore, completely opposite to what CSK have, where CSK's philosophy is, you know, you just get that team around Virat Kohli, around Mahendra Singh Dhoni, and, you know, he'll weave the magic with his team of Daddy's Army and they'll win. Whereas for Royal Challengers Bangalore, as Vedam was also suggesting, there is brand, there is flamboyance, you know, it just comes with it. And Dinesh Karthik definitely does not fit into that. I mean, they've built brands with Chris Gayle, Virat Kohli. Dinesh Karthik is a misfit there.
Absolutely. You know, there's a difference between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka for a reason. So, you know, CSK is built around, they first choose the captain because it also worked for them. 4 titles, right? They first choose the captain, then the team. But RCB is not, I mean, with Virat it was there, but now they cannot afford to do that. So they've chosen the team and now they'll choose the captain. See, Dinesh Karthik, for me, the problem, there's 2 major problems. One, he's not a big name. Like, he's not a world international name. Secondly, he was ousted from or exited KKR's captaincy last season. Yes, they made it to the final, but Morgan took them to the final. So that's a blemish, man. I don't see him becoming captain. So also he's 37.
Maybe they can reinvent, you know, Dinesh Karthik in the sense. We saw what Dinesh Karthik did when India were touring England, you know, as a commentator. You saw very different. You had all the international former cricketers. Vedam, you remember that? He was, you know, in colorful outfits, and Nasir Hussain was saying it's so great to have Dinesh Karthik, and he was actually he turned out to be a brilliant commentator. I enjoyed his commentary stint with Sky. Maybe, you know, they look to cricket and they look to reinvent someone. Vedam?
Yes, somebody said he went with 21 suitcases to England. So I don't know how true that is. But you know, when you look at the difference between the RCB and CSK, you know, CSK has got great backing. CSK didn't start as 10 years ago. CSK has got a cricket culture because they come from India Cements. And India Cements has been handling top cricketers from years now, from decades now. You know, so there's a culture, and they have an entire ecosystem built around India Cements, and that's how the entire CSK team also was formed, through India Cements. That was the backing they had, and they carried it out brilliantly. But again, like Nikhil very correctly said, there's a lot of difference between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. You know, they may be neighboring states, but in every other aspect, whether it's in temperament, in whatever, they are totally at different levels. So I don't think Karnataka will go the way, or rather Bangalore, RCB will go the way that CSK goes. You know, they'll handle things totally differently. I agree with Nikhil because I can't see Dinesh Karthik as the captain of RCB because it just doesn't fit into the profile of the team or the brand. You know,
that's right.
And I would think if you look at it for a short term, maybe Virat Kohli would still be the answer.
You know, we had Robin Uthappa on one of our podcasts on Mind Over Medals on mental health of athletes, and one of the things he said is that today's cricketer does not need to just play cricket. He needs to do a lot more, and that's where I think we're sort of stuck at when it comes to Dinesh Karthik, because there's so much about the brand that you are as a cricketer, not just for what you do on the field, but off it as well. It's unfortunate, but such are the times, you know. So thank you so much, Vedam Jaishankar, for joining us, and go enjoy the day-night test match. I know you'll be going for it in Bengaluru. So have fun. Hopefully it'll last more than 2 days. Nikhil Narayan, thank you so much for joining us as well here. So yes, who is it going to be? We'll get to know by the 12th of March, but my gut says it'll probably be Glenn Maxwell, though everybody's saying it's going to be Faf du Plessis. So let's find out by 12th of March. For now, that's it on this special. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.